Good afternoon. Welcome to the reenactment of Our Lady of Guadalupe by our 8th grade class. The story of the apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe is taken from the Álbum de Cuarto Centenario Guadalupano, published by the Basílica Nacional de Santa María de Guadalupe, Mexico, 1938. The Spanish translation was made from the original transcript of Brother Luis Lasso de la Vega, who made a faithful textual copy in 1649 of the original writing by Juan Diego and Antonio Valeriano. In 1847, during the war with the United States, these valuable documents were retrieved by the United States and are kept in the archives of the State Department in Washington, D.C. As this drama unfolds, everything in the Mexican world was in chaos. Exactly how it happened is difficult, if not impossible, to establish, yet this event immediately started to bring order out of the chaos. The meaning of this happening has been recorded throughout the years in the collective memory of the people. In this collective memory, whatever happened in 1531 is not past history, but continues to live, taking on meaning and influencing millions of people today. After an extensive study of much of the material available about the philosophy, theology, manner of communication, color symbolism, psychology, and as much as possible about the worldview of the Mexicans of the early 1500s, we will now make an attempt to reenact the legend through the eyes of the indigenous person who first saw and heard the Lady of Tepeyac.
A long time ago, in the country that is now called Mexico, there lived an Indian man called He Who Speaks Like an Eagle. He lived in the village of Tolpetlac with his wife, where they raised corn and paid taxes to the Aztec Empire. Then the Spaniards came, and they brought their Christian faith with them. Soon, He Who Speaks Like an Eagle and his wife became Christians, and they adopted the Christian names Juan Diego and Maria. One winter, Maria became sick and died. The friars helped Juan Diego to accept his grief with the knowledge that Maria was safe with their Creator in heaven. Juan continued to work hard. He also helped take care of his old uncle. While praying often, Juan also attended Mass every weekend. It was the 9th of December, on one Sunday, when Juan Diego took the familiar, long, hard walk toward Santiago to attend Mass. While on his way, Juan passed the hill of Tepeyac. Stopping, Juan thought he heard a bird singing a song he had heard at Mass. Juan heard a woman's voice calling to him.
Juan, Juanito, Juan Diego.
Juan saw a beautiful lady dressed in the robes of an Aztec princess. There was a bright light that surrounded her, and an array of beautiful flowers and an angel at her feet.
Dios mío, ¿qué veo? Estoy soñando. Did I hear something? I thought I was alone in these mountains. My God, what do I see? Am I dreaming?
Juanito, mi pequeñito, ¿a dónde vas? Juanito, my little one, where are you going?
Señora, voy a México. Voy al templo para oír la Santa Misa en honor de la Madre de Dios. My lady, I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to the temple to attend Mass in honor of the Mother of God.
Hijo querido, quiero que sepas que yo soy la Madre de Dios. Oye cuidadosamente, hijo mío. Tengo un mensaje muy importante para ti. He venido aquí donde puedo mostrarte mi amor por ti y por mi gente. My dear son, I want you to know that I am the Mother of God. So listen carefully. I have a very important message for you. I have come here to show you my love for you and for my people.
Como un simple sembrador de maíz puede ayudarle a usted, mi señora. How can I, a poor simple corn grower, help you, my lady?
Ve con el obispo de México y dile que yo te envío con esta petición. Dile lo que has visto y oído. Dile que debe construir una iglesia aquí inmediatamente. You are to go to the Bishop of Mexico with this request. Tell him all you have seen and all you have heard, and tell him that he must build a church here right away.
Sí, mi señora. Yes, my lady.
So, Juan Diego hurried into the busy city and to the busy house of the bishop. Entering the courtyard, Juan Diego met the bishop's assistant and told him about what he had experienced.
Juan Diego, Su Excelencia el Obispo está muy ocupado. Ves toda esta gente aquí, vas a tener que... Juan Diego, His Excellency the Bishop is very busy. See all these people here? You will have to wait.
Pero, padrecito, la señora dijo que es hablar con el obispo inmediatamente. But father, the lady said that the bishop was to be told right away.
Juanito, ten paciencia y espera hasta que yo pueda arreglar todo para que puedas ver al obispo. Juanito, you have to be patient and wait so I can arrange for you to see the bishop.
And so Juan Diego waited, and waited, for there were many people ahead of him. Finally, in the late afternoon, the friar returned and let Juan Diego in to see the bishop.
¿Cuáles son sus deseos, Dios mío? What is this you wish of us, my son?
Su Excelencia, he hablado con la Madre de Dios en la montaña del Tepeyac. Ella me pidió un favor. Ella quiere que su construya una iglesia allá para su gente pobre. His Excellency, I've spoken with the Mother of our God on the hillside of Tepeyac. She asked me to request a favor. She wants a church to be built there for her poor people.
The bishop had heard many requests that day, but there was something about both the request and the man that was requesting it. The bishop had his doubts about Juan Diego, so the bishop asked again and again what he had seen and heard. Juan Diego repeated the story again and again. Finally, and in Juan's own Aztec language, the bishop said,
Dios mío, tengo muchos asuntos del Estado que debo atender primero. Si tú regresas dentro de unos días y repitas todos los detalles que tan cuidadosamente nos has dicho, vamos a pensarlo más seriamente. Pero, por favor, ten paciencia con nosotros. My son, I have many pressing matters to state that I must attend to first. If you will return in a few days and repeat all the details you so carefully spoken, you'll think about it more seriously. But please, be patient.
With that, the bishop gave his blessing, and the friar came and led Juan away. And so, as he walked away, Juan felt that he had failed. He had never thought that the lady's request would be turned down. Tired and sad, Juan went back to the hill of Tepeyac to tell the lady of his failure. The lady was waiting for Juan at the same spot on the hill.
Juanito, ¿por qué estás tan triste, hijo mío? Juanito, why are you so sad, my son?
Mi hermosa señora, le he fallado. El obispo estaba muy equipado y no me pudo oír. Oh, most beautiful lady, I have failed you. The bishop was too busy to listen to me. Mi señora, estoy seguro que el obispo no me crió, pero me dijo que regresara dentro de unos días y que iba a pensar acerca de mi historia. I'm sure that the bishop did not even believe me, but my lady, he did tell me to return in a few days, and he did say that he would think about my story. Mi señora, quizás fue porque soy un pobre ignorante, sembrador, y no hice su petición apropiadamente. Perhaps, my lady, because I am a poor ignorant farmer and I did not tell your request properly. Could I have messed it up?
Mi amado Juanito, tengo muchos mensajeros he podido mandar, pero es a ti el que necesito y quiero para ese proceso. Ruego esto por mí. Ahora regresa con el obispo y dile que yo quiero que se construir una iglesia aquí en este lugar. My dear son, I have many messengers I could have sent. but it is you that I want and need for this purpose. So I beg of you, return to the bishop and tell him tell him to build a church here for me in this place.
Mi señora, voy a hacer lo que me pide. Regresaré mañana al atardecer, con la esperanza de traerle buenas noticias esta vez. My lady, I will do as you have asked me. I will be back tomorrow at the setting of the sun. Hopefully, I'll bring you good news at this time.
Ve en paz, Juanito, hijo mío. Go in peace, Juanito, my son.
The next morning, on Monday and the 10th of December, up before daybreak, Juan Diego set out for the church at Santiago. After Mass, instead of visiting with friends as he often did, Juan went once more to the bishop's house. And there as before, Juan waited and waited and waited to see the bishop.
Tío mío, ¿por qué estás de regreso tan pronto? No te dije que necesitaba varios días para pensar acerca de tu historia. My son, why are you back so soon? Didn't I tell you that I needed several days to think about this matter?
Juan then repeated what the lady had told him and what she had instructed him to do. But the bishop's assistant interrupted, saying,
Su excelencia dice que no puede hacer lo que le dije. Necesitas regresar con tu señora y nuestro obispo que deje una señal, nuestro obispo alguna señal. Una señal que deje claro que deje claro que es ella realmente la Madre de Dios y que son sus deseos que le dé a nuestro obispo construir una iglesia en la montaña de Tepeac. His Excellency says he cannot do what you have asked me to return to your lady and ask for some sort of sign, a sign to make it clear that she is indeed the Mother of God and truly her wish that church is to be built, as you say, at the hill of Tepeac.
Pero por supuesto, Padre. Gracias, Padrecito.
At this time, Juan Diego left, his heart filled with joy, and hurried back to tell his lady what had happened. Meanwhile, the bishop did seek understanding through deep thought and prayer about Juan Diego and his strange story of a lady and her request for a church at Tepeac. As soon as he could, Juan returned to the lady on the hill at Tepeac and told her everything that had happened at the bishop's house. She smiled at Juan and said,
Juanito, gracias y yo entiendo. Hijo mío, regresa mañana y te daré una señal para ese buen obispo. Juanito, thank you and I understand. My son, return tomorrow and I will give you a sign for the good bishop.
But as Juan arrives home, his neighbors come to meet him.
Juan, apúrate. Tu tío está muy enfermo. Tenemos miedo de que muera. Juan, hurry. Your uncle is very ill. We are all afraid he is dying.
Juan spent the 11th of December caring for his uncle. After looking in on his uncle, it was clear that none of the tribal remedies would have saved his uncle. So, on the 12th of December, early in the light of dawn, Juan started to run back to Santiago. Juan needed to fetch the priest so that his uncle could be anointed before his death. It was only a matter of time as he approached the hill of Tepeac that he remembered the lady's request. And he decided that he must go and get the priest first. So he took a different path. But as he rounded the bend in the lower road, he saw her. She was still surrounded by the rays of light and appeared to be standing on the late crescent moon, supported by an angel with white wings.
No se enoje conmigo, mi señora. Mi tío está muy grave y necesito un sacerdote. Don't be angry with me, my lady. My uncle is near death and I need to get to a priest.
Juanito, ¿tú crees que voy a olvidarme de alguien que quiere tanto. Juanito, do you really think that I would neglect someone that loves as much as you?
No, mi señora. No, my lady.
Juanito, no te preocupes por tu tío. Él no va a morir de su fiebre. Él está curado. Juanito, don't worry about your uncle. He is not going to die from his fever. He is cured.
Hearing these words, Juan was filled with joy and asked for the sign.
Mi señora, ¿qué señal le llevará al obispo? My lady, what sign will I take to the bishop?
Mi querido, sube a la cima de la montaña y toma las rosas tú encuentres ahí. Ponlas en tu tilma y tráemelas. Juanito, you must go to the top of the mountain and pick the roses you see there. Put them in your tilma and bring them back to me.
Even though Juan knew that flowers, especially roses, did not grow in the winter, he ran to the top of the hill. There, he found the most beautiful roses. He bent down and, picking the best blooms, gathered them into his tilma. He then hurried back and kneeled before the lady. Touching the roses so as to arrange them into the tilma, the lady tied the tilma around Juan's neck and said,
Esta es la señal para el obispo. This is a sign for the bishop. Ve rápidamente y no te pares para el camino. Go and go quickly, and do not stop along the road. Sobre todo, no le enseñes a nadie, solo al obispo. Cuando él vea esta señal, él construir a la iglesia que le pido. Above all, do not show these flowers to anyone. When he sees this, he will build the church that I have asked for.
And so, for the third time, Juan Diego set off for the bishop's house as fast as he could walk. Arriving at the bishop's house, he was kept waiting again, and although he was asked several times to show what he had brought, Juan refused to show them what was in the tilma. As the hours grew long and it was getting late, Juan was beginning to think that he was never going to see the bishop, but he waited. When the bishop had heard that Juan was still waiting to see him, the bishop jumped up with anger. Juan was then rushed before the bishop. When he saw the bishop, Juan Diego said,
Tengo la señal que usted me pidió. I have the sign you asked for.
As he said this, he untied the tilma and let the roses, still fresh and damp as if they were just cut minutes before, fall to the floor. A cry came out of the bishop's mouth as he saw the empty tilma.
Dios mío, my God.
He began to recite the Hail Mary.
Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia. El Señor es contigo. Bendita eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto del vientre de Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega, Señora, por nosotros los pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén.
Juan joined in the prayer, but he realized that the others were not looking at the roses, but instead at his tilma. Looking down, his rough cactus fiber tilma had a painting of the Lady of the Hills of Tepeyac.
Perdóname, Hijo mío, por todas mis dudas acerca de tu historia y de haber visitado a la Virgen María, Madre de toda nuestra iglesia.
Taking the tilma from Juan, the bishop and everyone formed a procession as they went to the tilma and brought it to the private chapel. After meeting with the bishop, where Juan explained about the encounters with the lady, Juan returned to his village. After seeing that his uncle was well again, and after a few days, there was an adobe chapel built at the foot of Tepeyac, where the tilma was displayed. Juan Diego spent the rest of his time at the chapel. Today, there is a great church built there at Tepeyac, and to this day, millions and millions of people come on to visit and pray before the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And today, there is a Mexican blessing.
May God be as good to you as he was to Juan Diego.
Cielo hermoso. hermosa mañana, desde el cielo hermosa mañana. La guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo Tepeyac. Suplicante juntaba sus manos, suplicante juntaba sus manos. Y era mexicana, y era mexicana, y era mexicana su porte, su faz. Su llegada llenó de alegría, su llegada llenó de alegría. De luz y armonía, de luz y armonía, de luz y armonía, Tororanahuac. Junto al monte pasaba Juan Diego, junto al monte pasaba Juan Diego. Y acercóse luego, y acercóse luego, y acercóse luego al oír cantar. A Juan Diego la Virgen le dijo, a Juan Diego la Virgen le dijo, este servo el hijo, este servo el hijo, este servo el hijo para ser mi altar. Y en el tema de rosas pintadas, y en el tema de rosas pintadas, su imagen armada, su imagen armada, su imagen armada, sin no dejar. Desde entonces para el mexicano, desde entonces para el mexicano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano va a ser esencial. En sus penas se postra de enojos, en sus penas se postra de enojos. Y eleva sus ojos, y eleva sus ojos, y eleva sus ojos hacia el Tepeyac. Desde el cielo hermosa mañana, desde el cielo hermosa mañana. La guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo Tepeyac. La guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo Tepeyac.